So I'm just going to tell the story of the WE project, which I've been working on for about 5 years now, I think. The title is maybe partially self-explanatory, but all will become clear. So I'm the program leader for the product design course here, and it is about 5 years ago. A woman called Jo Tolley contacted us as a department, telling us that she has a need for a product that doesn't exist, and could we work together to develop it. Jo, at the time, was working with the Lincoln City Council as a disability advocate. She has cerebral palsy, uses a wheelchair, and she talked to us about the limitations that she experiences due to the fact that she can't independently use a toilet without assistance. So this, for her, means if she's out and about in the city, she needs to make sure she has a friend or a carer with her. She needs to know where the accessible toilets are, and she has to carefully manage when she drinks in the day, what she drinks, because she has carers coming in at various times in the day, and she can't use the toilet outside of those times. There are products that exist for men in this area. The sort of anatomical differences mean that it's easier to design a product for men that deals with urinary incontinence or kind of urinary aids. Just another point. So Jo is not, she's not incontinent. She can't physically get herself onto the toilet. So there's a real kind of factor of dignity here as well, and a limitation in what is available for women in this area. So she wrote this amazing piece of prose called Supersonic Pee Power. What would life be like if we could independently wee? And this was used as kind of a primer for a project that we did with Jo and with our students. I'm just going to read you a little bit of this passage, which was incredibly inspiring. So imagine a world where nobody had to refuse a drink for fear, awkwardness, or guilt of requesting to use the toilet. Envisage scenarios where that drink eliminated the hours spent in hospitals trying to eradicate urinary tract infections. Dare your mind to go to the place where people who are in total control of their bladders didn't have to resort to the embarrassment of using incontinence aids. What would life be like if where we went and what we did wasn't dictated by the inevitable question of, can I pee? Let's make it a mission to find out. So that was where we started from. In 2021, we did this student project with Jo. So she came in, she worked with us for a full day with students across all year groups in the degree, and it's still the best thing I've ever done with my students. So they talked to Jo, they came up with ideas. What could this solution look like? How could it work? What does Jo need? She was very, very good at just being very frank with them. They exceeded my expectations in the way that they handled the sensitive subject matter, and they were incredibly inspired and kind of energized by the knowledge of what design can do for someone, what impact design can have on someone's life. And I don't think we've ever managed to kind of embody that in quite the same way on the program before. So that went really well. And then, so this is the kind of timeline. I'm still working on this project now. So we did the student project in that academic year, 21 to 22. I got teaching and learning fund money for it, and we did a survey around it and wrote that up. And then with Jo, I had supported her to apply for a productivity voucher, which was around kind of initial prototyping of a product, and then it was in 2023, but it was that sort of financial year, we received just over £20,000 of impact acceleration funding from the university, and they rolled that support over to last year as well. So I'm really grateful for the support that this project has received, and particularly this funding. We put in the application and they acknowledged that there was a high chance of failure with this endeavour, but that the potential impact on people's lives was significant, and also potentially income generation for the university if we were managed to be successful. So obviously this is a kind of an extensive design process. Essentially, we're doing other work around this, and we're thinking about different outputs, but the main goal is to create a licensable product. So we looked at existing products, borrowed some anatomical models from the medical school. We did some interviews with women who would fit into the user group, but also carers and health professionals. Obviously it was a real benefit having Jo as a project partner, because she's an expert in the user experience, so we had a lot of conversations around that, considered the sustainability of the product, did a lot of materials testing, so I've brought some things to show you. I can't show where we're currently at with the design, but this is an idea of kind of where it started with these. This is trying out 3D printed flexible materials that went really badly wrong. This is a 3D printed funnel that we tried out, and then we adapted the shape using a material called polymorph, which is it's like a thermoplastic that if you put it in hot water you can squidge it around and kind of adapt shapes really in a kind of low fidelity way. And then we ended up doing tests casting silicon to create funnels using a mould, which is a bit like this, so a 3D printed mould. The sort of idea, the format for the product that we've come up with is like a pair of period pants with a silicone funnel stitched in, and then you can attach a tube and a leg bag to that, and then detach it and throw the pants and the funnel into the washing machine, so that it's not a single-use product. So we've made an absolute ton of prototypes. We've done testing. I'm surprised how far we've got, but it's, as you can imagine, it's really, really hard, particularly considering the fact that if a woman is sat down, then the funnel and everything is going to get squashed. So we are aiming for and working on a user needs report. So thinking about this group of women that would use this product, starting with wheelchair users, and what their needs are within this area. So writing a report about all of that. Throughout this sort of later stage of the project, we've employed students on the project through campus jobs in various roles. So we have got a plan to run a focus group which involves some co-design activities, and that's really beneficial for our students to kind of train up in that facilitation skill set. So we've had students involved in lots of different ways throughout the whole project, and it keeps coming back into the course in different ways. So there's a sort of model here for student as producer in projects like this, which is kind of an outcome of the project, and hopefully, as I said, we'll end up with a licensable product, which the plan is that we will partner with an external company. They will license the product from us and they will sell it, and we will get a percentage as a university. and Joe will also get a percentage as well. So just to finish, there's loads that can be written up, I think, about this, but what I have learned and what we're discussing at the moment, particularly when I had to do the research ethics application for the focus group event, I kept getting a sort of nod because technically the participants are classed as vulnerable adults, and there were a lot of comments about the subject matter and the sensitivity of it, and it's just really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. But what I realised was that actually these women are best placed to talk about this because they need to deal with carers every day, helping them go to the loo and do things like that. So if anyone can kind of comfortably talk about this and be experts in this area, it's them. So in that sense, there isn't vulnerability there, there's real ability. So also the kind of the factor of disability culture needing to be a part of inclusive design is a new kind of awareness that I'm developing. Time as a key component in projects like this. We've had loads and loads of setbacks, partly due to sort of health issues from Joe has experienced and other participants within the focus group. So that has been a key learning and something that I would try and sort of plan in the future. The complexity of continence and incontinence, and actually how there's a risk of getting this wrong and cause sort of misaligning to health needs. So using incontinence devices when they're not needed, for example, can really diminish someone's continence. And also, from a sort of social angle, Joe pointed out that there could be unintended consequences if we provide a product that can perform this function. Then a disabled person might lose their carer, or it might reduce their carer visits, and that might be a real lifeline for them. So there's a balance, a fine balance. And also, I've been really inspired to work to increase the diversity on our programme, and I'm kind of talking to people about how we can create a space where students with a wider range of disabilities can study with us and enter the design industry, because I think there's a real need and potential for that to come through. So I think.
Okay, that's really